Hello, friends. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a fabulous weekend. It is Saturday, and the sun is shining, or at least where I am. Or if it's not shining where you are, I hope that at least you're looking at the glass half full, and maybe it's shining on the inside for you. I actually have something exciting. So as you guys know, or for those of you that have recently joined the group and don't know me, my name is Katie. I worked in the marketing world for about 10 years, and I started freelancing after the birth of my daughter named Gracie. And I recently started branching out and became a Skillshare teacher as well. And so I began investing in my business, and I put a little money towards some equipment, and I bought a microphone so that I can continue doing Skillshare classes. So if someone is watching, if you wouldn't mind just letting me know if you can actually hear me or not. I just want to make sure that the microphone, you can hear me, and that the sound is okay. So just let me know, say hello, wave, do something, please. I'll give a couple of minutes for people just to jump on. So I'm going to test it out myself and see if I can actually hear. Hello. So I'm going to test it out myself. Okay, it sounds like people can hear me. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about today is failure. So we always want to share with our friends or our family when we've accomplished something, right? We always want to share our exciting news about, what we've done, what we've accomplished, the next steps of where we're going. But we never want to say the F word, which is failure, right? We always try and avoid talking about failure, and it comes with shame, right? We don't want to admit that we've failed. We set out to accomplish something and we didn't achieve it. But what I want to talk about today is, why are we so scared of failure? And why do we have such a negative tone on the word failure? So when we were born, and we were learning how to crawl, and before we could walk, we fell a million times. We didn't just stand up and start walking. No, we had to learn how to crawl. And in that process, there was probably a lot of falling on the floor and grabbing onto things and figuring things out and building our strength up so that we could crawl, and then we could move on to walking. Now, never during that time did our parents say, oh, they fell, they failed. No, they said they're learning how to walk. They're learning how to crawl, okay? When we learned how to ride a bike, most people probably didn't get on their bike and just take off. Yeah, there's probably a few people out there that did, and that's amazing, but I wasn't one of them. I remember my mom letting go of me on my bike for the first time, and me flying and crashing and falling off the bike, and I was fine. I wasn't hurt. But me hysterical and saying, Mom, why did you let me go? And I can vividly remember it. And she was so upset and felt so bad that I had fallen. And she said, I thought you were ready. That is, such a great takeaway. Okay, you fell. You just weren't ready. You just weren't ready to do it all by yourself. And that's why we need to think about failure in a different way. Okay, so you've fallen off your bike. Big deal. Get back up and get back on the bike. It's not the end of the world. At what point do we stop saying, okay, this person is learning how to walk. This person is learning how to ride a bike. Fast forward to being an adult, we've suddenly failed. It's not learning, we've failed. It's either success or failure, black and white, two roads, that's it. I don't think that we can think about things like that. I want to urge you to think about failure in a different light. So I have, if we want to call it failure, I've had so many failures. I mean, so many. I remember one of the things that sticks out to me is when I not first started, but when I was a little younger, probably like 8 years ago, I got a job promotion, and I'm young now, but I was really young at the time. And, at the time I was so proud of myself. I was like, well, like I'm moving up. I'm making a little bit more money. I was in charge of an entire team of people. And in my head, I said, oh, like this is going to be hard, right? It's going to be managing all of these different personalities. It's going to be a lot more work. But I don't think I truly understood how hard it was going to be. And if you're looking at things in black and white terms, I failed. I definitely failed. I had an entire staff of people that were much older than me, or at least for the most part. They had been with this company for a very long time. So they were ingrained with what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. And the last thing that they wanted was this young girl coming in and telling them what to do and that we were going to do things different to make things more efficient. That was not going to go over well. Okay. And so fast forward to now, I would have handled things very differently. But you know what? Being very young, not having experience managing people, I didn't handle it appropriately. And I internalized everything. I wanted my team to love me. I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to think I was doing a great job. And so any feedback that they were giving me, I was bending over backwards to try and make everybody happy. And you know what? You can't do that when you're managing a team. Yes, there are different methods of managing, and I think it's definitely important to take in other people's feedback and what they think, and be open to feedback of how to do things differently. But you also have to be very strong and have thick skin, and I didn't have that. I didn't have that at all, not even close. I don't think I had any skin at all. And I took things so personally. And looking back at that, I could have said I was a failure. I did a horrible job. But you know what? I did it. I had a lot of successes, but I also had what people call as failures. Okay. But I want to urge you guys to look at it differently. So me forwarding and having more management experience under my belt, having gone through all of these experiences, I don't look back at that and say, ooh, that was a failure. No, that was a learning and growing experience. That was the first management position that I had in my life. And I was learning and growing and identifying what tools I needed as a manager, what I needed to work on personally. how to motivate people, how to get people to do the things that I needed them to do in order to get to the vision that I had. And you know what? I needed to go through all of those falling off my bike moments in order to get to the place that I was at now so that I can manage a team. So fast forward about 4 years later, and I was in another management position and managing a much larger team. And was my experience perfect? No, absolutely not. There's no perfect experience and situation. But you know what? I took all of those learning experiences that I had before and I approached things differently. So yeah, I did have a lot more positive outcomes than I did negative, versus the first experience, I think there were more negative than positive experiences. Okay. So I wouldn't say that my last management experience was a complete success. No, it's a learning process. It's growth. Okay. So that process led me to where I am now, where I'm continuing to grow. I'll give you another example. As you guys know, I am a teacher on Skillshare, and about 2 months ago, maybe a little bit more than that, I created my first Skillshare class, and I was so excited, but I was also so incredibly nervous. This was my first online class, and I had a shoestring budget, aka no budget at all, and I didn't have equipment. I didn't know how to, video myself. I was learning all of these things. And so it wasn't that I look back at the experience and wish I had done the video differently or, put money into, supplies and things like that for audio. I don't wish I did any of those things. But you know what I wish I did differently? I wish that when I had published my class, I had marketed it differently. So I let my family and my friends and old coworkers and all of these people know about my class. And instead of being really proud of it, I was bashful. And I was a little ashamed because it wasn't this high quality class that I wanted it to be. Now, the content was excellent. The content is on point, and every single person that has reached out to me on Skillshare and needed, additional advice and help, I have reached out to them, and it makes me feel so good that I am impacting people to help them become a freelancer and create the life and dream that they want in their life. But what bothered me was the quality of the video, the quality of the audio. I wanted it to look like and sound like a professional had done this video. And that wasn't realistic because it was my first time creating a class and I didn't have any equipment. So I wish that I had just been more proud of my class. So when I was sending it to people, the language that I was using in it was, oh, if you have time, maybe check it out. I don't know, it's probably not even that good, but if you feel like it, check it out. If you know of anybody that maybe might, all these little things. There was no confidence in there. And so the results of that at the end of the month, every single month I get paid by Skillshare based on how many people sign up for my course, how many minutes are watched and things like that. And you know what? I'm going to be doing a live stream soon, probably next week when I get my next payment on how that process is, so that if you're interested in it, you can hop on board as well. But at the end of my month, the amount of people that signed up for my class was Very, very little. And you know what? It goes right back to how I promoted it. It was my communication to other people. If I'm not enthused about this and proud about this, why would anybody take the time to watch my class? No, nobody's going to. If they're getting the vibe that I'm not proud of it, they're not going to be excited about it. So I learned from that experience. And I said, you know what? I did not spend all of that time creating content, videoing myself, editing things, doing all of these things to fail. No, I didn't fail, okay? I didn't get the results that I wanted, but that doesn't mean I can't still get the results in the future that I want. So I learned from the experience. And I identified what I should have been doing differently. And that was marketing my class differently. Once I started marketing my Skillshare class and being confident in it, because I know the value that I was providing in this class, my numbers completely changed. Completely changed. The first month, 3 people signed up for my class. 3 people. And I'm pretty sure 2 of those people were family. Second month, 18 people that I did not know signed up for my class. Third month, that I have almost 50 people signed up for my Skillshare class. Now, I'm not saying that my class is the best thing and it's just going to change your life. I'm not going to lie, no. But I have been really honest and open and proud that I have put something together. And that confidence has come across to other people. And that's why they have signed up for my class. So my leaving thoughts with you today is, when you are coming across a point where you feel that you are failing, when really you're just going through growth period, these are the tips that I recommend you doing. So it's easy when you've come out on the other side on a positive place to say, oh, look at failure in a different light. Look at it in a positive light. Look at it, as a learning experience. Well, honestly, if someone was to say that to me during my failure period, I'd be like, yeah, well, that's easy to say when you're on the other side, not failing anymore. But when you're going through that failure period, it's really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel and down the road. So here is what I try and do when I feel that I'm failing. So the first thing is, determine what you should have done differently. Okay, so for my Skillshare class, it was being confident, not using this weak language to promote it, being confident that I did this with no child's care, freelancing for other people, being at max capacity. I somehow managed to put this class together and I am proud of it, okay? So changing my language. The next step is determine how you're going to do things differently moving forward, okay? So we've figured out what you did wrong, or what didn't work, not even what you did wrong, because let's not use negative language, what you could have done differently, okay? So let's find a path of how to move forward, okay? What is going to have a positive result for you? Now, the next step is something that not everyone likes doing, me being one of them, but it has really good results. So it's identifying someone that is going to give you brutally honest feedback, okay? I recommend this not being a friend or a family member. You don't have to like this person. It could be a former coworker that you really respect. They were a rock star, but maybe personality-wise, you didn't really love. You don't have to like this person, but you need this person to give you that brutally honest feedback, okay? Sometimes when we talk to friends and family, they don't want to hurt our feelings, right? They kind of sugarcoat things, that those mom phrases of, well, I think, you did a great job. You don't want that. In order to improve in life, we need some brutal feedback sometimes. And it doesn't even have to be brutal, but sometimes we need to look at things from a different perspective. Okay, we need to sometimes we're so ingrained in, and we have blinders on of what we're looking at, and we're just so focused that we need somebody else to look at it from a different perspective and say, hey, did you ever think of doing it this way? Hey, have you tried this? Or saying, you know what, I think you need to revamp all of this and start from scratch. Sometimes, it depends on your personality. Sometimes you may say, you know what, that's a great idea. And then depending on somebody else's personality, they might say, I worked so hard on this and now you're ripping it apart. Well, when you're talking to that third party that has, no attachment to what you're doing, have an open mind with what they're saying, because everyone has value. Everyone is going to see things from a different perspective. So take a moment and absorb it, okay? And then try and implement those changes into whatever it is you're working on so that you get a different result. So those are my thoughts on failure today and why we should be looking at it from a different perspective. So if you want my perspective, if you want other group members' perspectives on things that you're currently working on, I urge you, drop into the group. You don't need my permission to post things. Drop on in, ask everyone questions. We have almost 100 members in this group already. I want to say it's like between 70 and 80. So that's 70 to 80 amazing, fabulous women that can give real value and feedback to you. So don't be scared, put yourself out there, and let's figure out how we can get you to the place where you feel you have succeeded and not failed. So have a great day, have a fabulous rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.